going on, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to a very special movie review. As if you paid attention to my community posts, I decided that since Netflix finally dropped the new Ghostbusters movie on Netflix, I decided to give it a watch. And of course, this is one of those movies that I really wanted to see when it first came out, but unfortunately, got in the way. But that's beside the point. Hey, safe. But anyway, so I finally got a chance to watch it over the weekend, and there's a lot of things I liked about it, and there's a lot of things I didn't like about it. So let's just come right out of the gate. Is this a good follow up to Afterlife? I would say depends on how you look at it. I would say it's a bit of a mixed bag. I still have mixed feelings even when I first saw the trailer months ago, when it came out. So I'm like, all right. So I think I know where they're going with this. But the fact that they actually decided to make the plot based on an episode from the old cartoon show, I think that's a good way to go. But here's the thing: the problem with that is I felt like you had to stretch it, and I think and parts of the story kind of felt a little thin, but. But when that happens, it's like, okay, now it's like, what's the journey here? How are we going to get from point A to point B? How are we going to get to what we saw, all that good stuff that we saw in the trailer? And it turns out they saved all that good stuff for the final act, or like the middle to third act. And of course, I'm like, really? We waited all this time, but hey, at least they tried to show the journey to that, where it's through some character development or some kind of plot device, anything. But I think it kind of worked. But at the same time, it's like you're kind of expecting more. That's the feeling that I got from this. But I was definitely happy to see all our favorites return. Good to see Bill Murray again. Good to see Aykroyd and Ernie Hudson. Of course, that's back to Murray. Is that a lot of people were saying he was only in 2 or 3 scenes of this movie. It's like not a lot of his stuff is in the movie. I get he doesn't like being part of the limelight. We get it. But hey, he did it for the sake of the story, the sake of the franchise. I get it. So yeah, we kind of expected more from him. I think he did a fairly good job, even though I could tell like he was just having fun with it at times. The whole plot device of Frozen Empire. They're going off with this war. It's no Doors the Gazarian or Vigo the Carpathian. It's someone new. I was like, what ancient deity are we going with here? So I'm like, okay, interesting way to go. I loved how they opened up the story in like 1904 New York, in an interesting case. Because I'm like, okay, so how is this coincide with that? I get that, but I'm like, okay, it's an interesting time, but why? But I'm pretty sure if I do a big deep dive, I'm pretty sure more weird shit has happened around that time, like spontaneous combustion, and all that. You've probably heard all those crazy tales, that always happens around the turn of the century, that the early 1900s. But I'm getting a little off topic. But outside of that, it's like getting a chance to see the old guard and the new guard just work together. It really does do a good job bridging the gaps. It was great to see McKenna Grace slip back to the role of Phoebe Spangler, and I really love that. Seeing Paul Rudd again was also a treat. Everyone just felt fantastic, and felt really good to see some of these characters that you fell in love with in the last movie, which was Afterlife, and that to me was a great way to introduce a new generation of fans and a new generation of characters, and using Egon Spangler, Harold Ramis's character, may he rest in peace, really worked. And here, so it's more of that, but some of these, I think, like I said, kind of stretched a little thin. But I will say the last act definitely made it up in the long run. Even though I think this was the longest out of all the Ghostbusters movies, to my knowledge. But outside of all that, I think this was a okay sequel. I still have some mixed feelings about it. It's like maybe it'll be good, maybe good someday. It's not as good as Afterlife, or as good as the OG stuff. Okay, of course, I'm kind of noticing a trend here. It's like the first Ghostbusters movie was really good. The second one not as good, but over time people are gradually saying it's not a bad sequel. as everyone else says. Afterlife, I think is a definite contender to be in between both those movies. And of course, we don't talk about the 2016 Ghostbusters. Okay, so again, fuck you, Leslie Jones. But and then this one I feel like kind of at the bottom of the barrel. But that's just me. That's just my opinion. If again, I don't count the 2016 Ghostbusters because again, it was a terrible thing. Let's pretend it never existed. Let's take it and throw it in the trash. The here we are, Afterlife arc. If they're gonna do another sequel, I highly doubt it. But so far, I think Frozen Empire kind of delivered. But again, plenty of room for improvement. That's my bottom line. All right, and with that, I'm gonna give Frozen Empire. I'm gonna give it a solid 6 for now. Okay? Maybe another repeat viewing, and maybe it'll grow on me, all right? But that's just me, okay? That's just for this evening. I know what you think. Thumbs up this video, subscribe to my channel, and stay tuned for some more awesome and exciting content.